Fuck yeah. Now I'm going to eat on stream. And if you don't like it, there's probably 1,000 other streams you could watch. Smash that like button. Daddy's hungry. Hold for review. Okay, I'll check it out, Kip. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry you guys have to watch me eat, but you know what? Welcome to Hollywood. I'm a soldier trying to make it. Get those questions ready. No more Dabbleburst questions. Not even if you pay me. Fuck them all. This is a friendly stream. I cried a little bit, to be honest with you. What up? What up? I'm eating during the first half of my stream. I apologize. Are you ready to rock? This is a late breakfast. I had some personal issues to take care of. It is dark. Now I'm trying to rush through eating so you guys don't have to look at this. I love Archie. The Vigils. Great movie. Yes. War Nikki Haley. I just like she's staying in the race to piss off Trump. I'm freedom of speech. Yeah, Adam Baldwin was great in the Chocolate War. It's kind of a underrated role of his. He's a very good actor. I'll cover my mouth so you don't see me. And Wallace Langham was great. I mean, really, it's just, a movie like that wasn't made to. I had gum surgery. I mean, they're not the biggest arms in the world, but not bad. Big day, a big night tonight on television. Got the Super Tuesday. Got the Kings game on. Vanderpump Rules. When did I start? Well, I noticed that outside of Sunday nights, 4 p.m. in the weekdays is my best hour. I like Jax, but of the current cast, I like James Kennedy. He's unintentionally funny. Yeah, but I don't know if that's going to work, though, because I think just Kristen is on it and a bunch of new people. No. I think him and Brittany just got separated, so that's probably going to be a storyline of the show. But, we'll see. I mean, they're really stretching out the Tom and Ariana thing. And I don't think either one of them is strong enough to carry a storyline throughout the whole season. I mean, I'm already bored with it. And, that new girl, Charlie, in my opinion, she's not, she's very boring. Like, I'm sure she's a nice person, but, No one super chat me while I'm eating. It's rude, but I got to be honest with you. I'm hungry. This will never happen again. Yeah, they really caught magic with the first cast. And I was actually on an episode when they were at the Hollywood Improv. But I showed my dick pic to all 3 cameras so they wouldn't use my comedy. Let's just say my strategy worked. All right. We're done with that. Sorry about that. My bad. Rest in peace, Virgil. Thank you, Sting. We'll put this up. We'll cover up berry jelly. Just this one time. Yeah, I've seen these. I live actually a block down from Pump. If you're looking at where I'm at, Pump is that way. So she is that beautiful, to be honest with you. I mean, beautiful to me, to be honest with you. I'd have one more thing to eat, but I'm going to do this on the DL. It's my dessert. Gives me a little sugar. They're not sponsors, but Justin's peanut chocolate gives me a little buzz. I mean, I don't know if she has a perfect body. Gavin Newscomb, thank you. I love your name. Let me. You guys come up with a question while I. Well, I like Lisa because her tits are real. Like, she didn't get them ballooned up like most of the people on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I will never eat on camera again. It's very rude. But you know what? I paid my dues. Well, I've never seen anyone improve their looks with plastic surgery. You know, this is what they look like. Like a Reese's Pieces cut. Usually, like, look at Jenna Jameson before all the surgery. She was hot. I did, William Zoom. All right, here's the last bite. That is very funny. Sorry, I'm reading the chats, Dr. Nova. That is a good heckle. I can appreciate a good heckle. I had a bad heckle the other night. But it was so bad the crowd turned against the girl. I have this bit in my act where I talk about wanting to do a special where when I get called to the stage, half the crowd gets up and walks out. You would watch that special. So I say to like 4 people in the audience, who's your favorite comic? And someone will always say Chappelle. I'm like, Chappelle plays packed arenas. Who's your favorite comic? Jimmy Carr plays packed arenas. Who's your favorite comic? John Mulaney, packed arenas. And I'm like, Joe Rogan, packed compounds. And then I said to this one last person before I get into the meat of the joke, who's your favorite comic? She's like, not you. And she kept heckling me, and the crowd hated her. So word to the hecklers out there, if you're going to try and one-up the comic on stage, you better be funny. Hit the like button, man. We got 30 people in here and only 8 likes. Come on, man. I'm not asking you guys for money. I'm not panhandling. Hit the like button, baby. She was a little heavy, a little on the heavy side, but very drunk. So, and that's the key to, you see all these sham videos of audience members heckling comics, and they're usually plants. And you got to really make sure the audience knows, hey, this person's being disruptive, not just towards me, but towards you guys. And everyone in the room's paid 20, 40, 60 bucks, whatever the ticket prices are. So the audience will usually go on your side. And for an hour, she was heckling me. And they didn't kick her out for whatever reason. So then toward the end, I started getting a little frustrated. And I never get frustrated on stage. So I just started laying into her, kind of being mean to her, and the crowd liked it. Yes, that's an Animal House line. The great John Vernon, thank you very much. Yeah, I had to do an hour Saturday night. Well, I don't have to do it, but the Comedy Store, when I close out the show on Saturday nights, they kind of just let me do what I want. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. This stuff is carbonated. My bad. I'm burping, eating on. I don't blame you guys if you go to someone else's stream tonight. But I'll still give you my best. Well, I'm Ross. I'm respectful of the fact that it's a lot of money to go to a comedy club. Take the Comedy Store, or really any club, but since I'm familiar with the Comedy Store, it's $20 to park. You probably are coming from a $200 dinner. Now, that's not directly related to the Comedy Store, but everyone goes to dinner beforehand. I don't actually know what the ticket prices are at the store, but I'll say $40. So if you have a date, that's $80. Drinks are, probably depending what you drink. If you're drinking the hard stuff, that's more. So you have $50 to $100 for drinks. So it's a couple $100 to go to a comedy club if you do the full experience. So I'm respectful of that. So that's why, like Saturday night, I could have gotten off at 15 minutes and go, thank you very much. See you next week. By the way, I'm at the Comedy Store this Saturday night, 12:15. Anyone local, come on down. And that is a membership perk on my YouTube channel. Free tickets to the Comedy Store and a tour around the place after. I think that's on one of the higher memberships, but I'll do that for anyone, to be honest with you. So, when someone's heckling, it's just so fucking rude. Yeah, Andy Dick, I think, is banned from the Comedy Store. Well, I don't want to bore you guys with the same story, but, you guys know when I saw the Steelers and the Rams, it was, from waking up that morning to going to bed at night, it was about a $600 experience. Now, I can afford it because I'm rich. But how do the poors go? Hold on, I'm just sending out a tweet. But I don't know how poor people go to concert events. I really don't. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I don't know how you. I mean, it's just I don't know how poor people die. When my parents died 2 months apart, it cost about 20 grand to bury my mom. And it's not like we went like all um all in or whatever. Um and then my dad died 2 months later and we had to okay, let me do that Kip on my iPad. I appreciate that, Kip. See, there are ways to contribute defaults under messages. Hmm. I don't want to. Let's see. I'm seeing that. Let me see the dashboard. I'm gonna do it the next stream because on my iPad I'm not seeing that. Uh, it's a different setup. I don't want to do that, but I will. I appreciate that, Kip. Settings. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Hold on. Let me try this. Okay, hold on. Sorry, kids. Permissions. Community defaults. Maybe that would be permissions. Okay, I don't see anything under that. I see push notifications. I see appearance, creator demographics. I'm going to do that as soon as this stream is over. Because the last time I tried to do something during a stream, the sound was wackadoony. So I'm scared, Kip. We are 426 brothers. I don't know what that means, Daniel, to be honest with you. But I very much appreciate that, Kip Smith. See, Kip Smith is a moderator. There's all kinds of ways to contribute to the Earlverse. Yes, super chats are welcomed and all that, memberships and stuff. But I'm not very technologically savvy. So Kip Smith giving me a little technical advice. I'm down to come. I have something very exciting to show you guys. This is a 4K camera that will go right here tonight. So my picture should be better tomorrow. Man. Don't drink one of these before a stream. And a 4K camera. Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry, Daniel. I didn't know. Yeah, my mom died February 25th. Dad, April 26th. Well, it's 4K capable, but William, it also can not stream in 4K. So I sent my technical specs to my friend who's he's on your level of like computer knowledge, and he said this is the one you should get. There's no more Dabbleverse talk in her Mud Sharks. I don't even care even if you pay me. That ain't my jam. And I know if I said, hey, let Dabbleverse questions $5 and up, you guys I'd be making a couple $100 a day just talking shit. But I'm just done with that world, man. I'm not going to be a guest on anyone's shows, because they all stream snipe each other, man. And then I get roped in like this guy sucks or whatever, and I can take it. I mean, I roast battled, Jesse Joyce, Comedy Central's #1 roast writer, Jimmy Carr, K. Trevor Wilson from Canada, and who is Sarah Tiana on international television. So, nothing in the streaming world scares me, but I don't want to, I just don't care. Like the one dude said I was boring. And that's just talking shit, man. Like, I'm a lot of things. I'm sure plenty of people in the Dabbleverse don't think I'm funny. That's fine. Comedy is completely subjective. Um, so, someone saying I'm not funny, it doesn't really bother me. Do I wish, like, whoever doesn't think I'm funny thought I was funny? Yeah, sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we all do comedy and streams and whatever for acknowledgement from people in the stream. Or money, I guess. But you guys know me. I've been monetized for almost 2 months now. Have I ever panhandled saying, give me money, give me money? No. And I never will. And I do realize that if I delved into the dabble, I'd be the funniest roaster by a mile. It's just a group of, I guess you'd say, podcasts or streams who all shit talk each other. And people like it. I mean, look at Shuley. He has 1,000 people in his chat at 6 a.m. Melton has 600 or 700 people in his morning streams. Kevin Brennan has over 1,000 people in his streams. I mean, Kevin and Shuley probably make $500 to $1,000 a day. And like when you turn into Kevin's stream, it's going to be about Stuttering John or Ray or Chad or whatever. I mean, I know if I did the same, I would be making a lot more money than I'm making doing this. But I'm not doing this to make money. The money is really just, like William Zoom said it the best. He said, the money, you're like a bartender and we're patrons. If we think what you do is good, here's whatever. Great. But some of the streams just hold you hostage. And I'm not even really talking about anyone in particular, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just a dark world, and I don't want any part of it. I'm even on the fence of going to Hackamania. Like, what the fuck would I want to go there for and have my set taped in a bar and then have countless streams? Oh, this guy sucks. Fuck that, man. Say it to my face, man. Come to the Comedy Store any night. I'm not a hard guy to find in LA. I'm really not. I don't hide. So, and I'm friends with a lot of these guys. I'm friends with Shuley and Kevin. And I mean, I've never met Kevin, but, we're like online friends, I guess. And Melton I'm friends with, and Ray and all that shit. So, but I'd rather talk about wrestling and comedy and have 32 people in here. Yeah, but Tookie, someone sent me his stream the other night. Guy had 700 people in it. Or Corndiff. I don't know if that's the same. Corndiff had 750 people in his stream, but he talks shit. So, Chad has 200 to 300 people in his streams. But I'm not, my streaming money or Patreon money, if you will. And thank you to Pam I Am for joining my Patreon the other day. She's the best, her and St. Ranger. But my voiceover work is where that's my play money. Yes. No, I'm just explaining myself, Kip. Because I get asked all the time, why don't you go on MLC anymore and all that stuff. So I'm just trying to explain myself. Yes, Revolution was great. We'll talk Revolution. Let me pull up the card because I'm old, so I don't quite. I remember the first match was the 12-man tag. I don't know. I just that 12-man tag was kind of whack, to be honest with you. Like, Jay White should be in singles. Hello, Brittany. Jay White should be in singles matches, and he is in the next Wednesday in Boston. Is facing Darby Allin. That's going to be great. The Bakersfield Condor. Get the fuck out of here, man. I still do have a game worn Bakersfield Condors jersey of the wild Mexican Jordan Roach. So the first match on 0 Hour was the 12-man scramble. I mean, Jay White's got to be insane. It's embarrassing how they're using Jay White right now. He is a New Japan star. And then I believe the second match was the 8-man scramble. Wardlow winning. That made enough sense. And there was one other match. I forget. But that shows you. I mean, it's 0 Hour. It served its purpose. It's a warm-up match. You get. Julia Hart and Sky Blue lost to I think Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. So, the problem with all those matches is I didn't care who won. And that is a problem for AEW. And then we'll get to the main card, which was pretty good. I mean, I give this pay-per-view overall a solid A. I'll get to my reasons why. Well, hold on. Before we do that, just in case I forget and get lost in the talk, ACDC 5150, $1.99. I love you, Earl, but why are you doing Hackamania, not dollars? I can assure you it's not that. I'm doing the comedy show only. I mean, I'm a comic. I go where the action is, and there will be a nice crowd. But to be honest with you, I'm hesitant in doing it just because it's going to be unless I'm reading the room, and obviously Melton is in charge, and I don't know, the venue like he does. People are going to be taping it. It's going to be loud, but I'm a comic. I go where I go where the shows are. I have no interest in the podcast. I think it'd be fun to judge. I think they're having an open mic contest because I like judging contests because I try and give good advice. And be, hey man, you're funny. Maybe try this. So I'm not gonna participate in the dabble shit. With Carl and all those guys. That's their thing. Because Vegas is, I don't know if I'd say it's a good comedy city, but there's a lot of comedy shows there. So I'll probably just do the gig, maybe judge the open mic thing and then go to another club and, perform elsewhere. So, I mean, I like Melton, but, he's definitely controversial, He's like my friend Ty Rivera, who Melton, they're arch enemies. I mean, if you look at, the video Ty Rivera released over the weekend talking about the mothership and how bad the booker is, who I'm personal friends with. It's a ballsy video to talk about that when you just moved to Austin under a year. So Carl LeBeau is awesome, man. I didn't know him well. I met him a few times at the store. Sad the way he died, just cancer, man. It's not pretty. So, what are you going to do? I'd hang with Carrot Top. I respect Carrot Top. So the first match was Christian Cage defeating Daniel Garcia. Good match, a little bit of everything. I mean, this is the best run Christian's ever had in his whole career. I mean, he's really, I remember when he debuted in AEW, I'm like, he was kind of going out, losing it in the WWE, but he's definitely found his niche. And Daniel Garcia is a very good match. It showcased Daniel Garcia, even though he lost. I would like to see Nick Wayne wrestle more instead of being the sidekick, and Luchasaurus, aka Kill Switch, too. I do think Nick Wayne's mom is getting more comfortable each week on TV, so You can tell she's having fun with it. Then the next match was Eddie Kingston against Bryan Danielson. Two great wrestlers. And I love watching, I almost said battles, wrestling matches where one guy has a great body and the other doesn't. Typical Eddie Kingston match with the chops and the exhaustion setting in early. And Danielson's a pro. I don't think he's hurt by the loss. So, all in all, a good match. And I was wrong. Wardlow, the next match was Wardlow winning the All-Star Scramble. It was a bit of a clusterfuck because, there's just too much. There's too many big men in the ring, like, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Lance Archer, and then, no one knew who Magnus was. So, I'd rather have seen Jay White and Wardlow in a singles match. But I think they're kind of slowly rebuilding Wardlow. So, I don't have a problem with him winning. I just don't know if that was the format I would have chosen for him to get a win. Roderick Strong, he's one of my new favorites, defeats Orange Cassidy. I hear Orange Cassidy is like hurting, so makes sense that he would drop the belt. So Roderick Strong is like a very good heel with the Kingdom. Matt Taven and Jackson. Blackpool Combat defeated FTR. I don't know. I didn't really care who won or lost this match. It was a typical hardcore match with these guys. Dax Harwood bleeding pretty bad. But a good match. It served its purpose. Timeless Tony Storm defeats Deonna Purrazzo. Good match, not great. Like I would have teased a woman coming out in a mask, and it wouldn't even have to been Sasha Banks, but maybe putting Storm and Sasha Mercedes Monet's finisher and then dropping some dollar bills or going like this over her body. That's her thing. And then that sets up her debut in Boston next week. But that's just what I would have done. But, it's an okay match. And then, the final two matches, probably, or the final three matches, great way to end the card. You had the match of the night without hesitation. Will Ospreay defeats Konosuke Takeshita, and this might be a new rivalry. Just an amazing match. 15 minutes of like high risk moves, and really only one slight botch when Ospreay got a little hurt in the corner when I think either he slipped or Takeshita dropped him a little too soon or too low on the ropes, and he hurt his back. But what a great match. Two future stars. They're stars now, but like this match put each guy over. And then you had a three-way match for the AEW World Title. Samoa Joe defeats Swerve Strickland and Hangman. Some good drama between Hangman and Swerve. To have Hangman losing his mind, kind of playing the crazy evil heel now is funny. And I thought it was great that he looked like Magnum TA. He's looking more and more like Magnum TA with the mustache and the facial hair and the hair. And Magnum TA was sitting with Nikita Koloff in the front row. So I thought that, as a fan of NWA wrestling, I mark out with anything with Magnum and Nikita Koloff. Samoa Joe still the champ. He adds legitimacy. He's a legit tough guy. So I thought that was good. And before we go on to the final match, Jumpin' J-Man Jack, not only a $5 sticker, but a gifted Earl Skakel membership with Random Guy being the beneficiary. Thank you, J-Man Jack. You're the best. And thank you, ACDC 5150. And thank you to Kip Smith for the technical advice. I'm loving this. This is a very nice stream. We're all friends. We're all friends in here. And I don't care if you guys agree with me on stuff. It's better if you disagree with me. So we get the conversation going. And then the final match, I welled up a little bit a few times. Sting and Darby Allin defeat the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. No, I was a little kid, Dr. Nova. So I was 10 when Elvis died. So I don't believe. I was 9, actually. Didn't Elvis die in 77? William Zoom? Come on. And for the last, Elvis, he was my neighbor in Bel Air, but he also had like 5 houses in the LA area. But I believe the Bel Air house was his usual hangout because it was off the grid. My parents' house was hidden. Elvis's was super hidden. Like you could drive by it and not see the driveway. It kind of had like a bat cave like entrance. But no, I did not. So 77, okay. But Sting, Darby Allin, the Young Bucks were great heels. I was a little, when this was first announced, I believe about 5 to 6 weeks ago, I wasn't really quite on board with the Bucks just because they don't really have an association with Sting. Like there's no storyline from the past. But, everyone was going to complain about this. Like all of Sting's contemporaries are dead for the most part. I mean, Ric Flair's alive. Magnum TA's in a wheelchair. Lex Luger's in a wheelchair. I mean, Nikita Koloff's the only one who probably can physically, along with Ricky Steamboat, could probably do something. But it was awesome to see all those guys I just mentioned in the front row. And, great match. Pretty well paced. Some crazy spots, including the Darby Allin glass spot. When it first happened, I thought, okay, this spot is a little unnecessary. I mean, it doesn't really benefit Sting at all. But, when I woke up this morning, I thought, Sting is such a fucking nice guy that I bet you he told Darby, hey, at one point in the match, do one of your wacky spots, get some shine on yourself. I wish it would have been executed a little better because if you watch the Darby Allin glass spot, and it's all over the internet, you can see the Young Bucks get out of the way, and it wasn't like the one brother saved the other brother from getting smashed. But it was more like, hey, let's get out of the way. We don't want to fuck up his spot. So in that regard, it was an unnecessary point of the match. And some people have criticized Darby for being selfish. That's taking the shine away from Sting. Because, really that is the most talked about part of the match right now on the internet. Yeah, Lex Luger did look pretty good. I met him 2 years ago, and he looked pretty good. I mean, he looks happy, man, and as happy as you can be. And I'm sure it's pretty awesome for him to see Sting. And I don't know if him and Nikita Koloff keep in touch, but Nikita looks great. And, to see Magnum TA. I mean, Magnum TA looks happy, man. He's not in a wheelchair. It's like an assisted living chair, but it's still, it's a little jarring. Like when I saw him, I cried. Both Magnum TA and Lex Luger. Yeah, he looked a little better, a little more fresh. But, when I met him, he was so nice. He was like, I think he was pretty happy. I mean, probably a little overwhelmed because I'm going to guess he had just started doing those conventions. And I can only imagine for the wrestlers. Yeah, I'm going to tape that. Good call, Ross. I forgot the Dark Side of the Ring with Earthquake is on tonight. The great John Tenta, who is kind of an under the radar. You know what? I did not have that taped. Thank you very much. Maybe we'll do a Dark Side of the Ring thing tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's going to be good on Dynamite. Interesting. A couple matches came out of Revolution that I'm not quite sure on. You've got See, that's what the fans are for. It's about, oh my God, Ross reminded me that Dark Side of the Ring is on tonight. So thank you, Ross. Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, which that doesn't really make sense because they're kind of like trios partners with United Empire. So I don't know if they're setting up an eventual break of Ospreay from the Don Callis family. And maybe in London, you see that. You see like Powerhouse Hobbs and Takeshita against Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. And then maybe, I'm going to assume you build towards the London card with Ospreay winning the gold, but, maybe against MJF or, someone. Yeah, I mean, there's some of the episodes, I think. Let me pull up. So that's my review of Sting's last match. I mean, or Revolution. Overall, I give a B plus, solid A minus. I mean, no pay per view is perfect, but it does prove, like, there's a sold out show, like no papering, no blocked off sections. And I think if AEW can learn something from that, it's they built this pay per view very good. I mean, what was it about? When did Sting announce his last match is going to be, at Revolution, 3 months ago. So you built the storyline and like it was very well done. So I think if you're an AEW fan, things potentially could be um, turning for the company. I mean, they've hit a bit of a slump, and obviously the WWE with The Rock there is kind of taking over. But with Mercedes Moné debuting next Wednesday, the rumored debut of Okada coming, I'm assuming Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter are getting close to coming back. I mean, Omega is going to be a while, but he could still probably be on camera, just not wrestle. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, how AEW handles the momentum. I mean, I believe they have hired someone specifically to write for Mercedes Moné. So I found that very interesting. But it also shows, hey, it's AEW going, we've probably butchered Jay White. We've butchered Big Bill. We've butchered Wardlow. We're not going to fuck up her debut. Because I do find it funny, like, although the women's division is getting better with her in it for sure, I don't know if there's like a lot of 5-star matches for her. I mean, I think you'd have to have her go against the two champions at some point, Tony Storm and Julia Hart. But Julia Hart's only 22. She might not be ready. I mean, I think Sasha would definitely have to put her over. Like, not lose to her. She's not going to lose to her. But they have a great, this could be a nice rivalry. And it could grow with Julia Hart's age. I mean, Tony Storm's great. I don't know if her and Sasha would have a good match or not. I've seen Sasha and Willow Nightingale in New Japan at Long Beach. I could see that, being a good feud. Jamie Hayter is, got to be close to coming back. So, and, Britt Baker's great on the mic. And I think is capable of, I'd like to see the preview or the promos for that. So, I think, and with hopefully Jay White getting a singles push, him and Darby. That's the only thing I don't like about that match is it just kind of was thrown together. Like they have no history, there's no beef, there's no story, and I just random guy, Bonzo Berry member. Thank you very much, random guy. And I believe the holder of the largest super chat ever. Would I roast Sting? Yeah, 100% I would. I mean, I don't think I would be asked because he's a reborn Christian and a man of God and stuff. But, if he wasn't in charge of asking people and like the guys who ran the Flair roast, they would ask me. So I would absolutely do it. Yeah, Sheeta would be good. I mean, there's other, a job match with Sasha and Abaddon. I mean, Abaddon's really good, but the gimmick is kind of one note. But um, and I mean, there's a couple other, Ring of Honor girls and Deanna would be good. I mean, so there's definitely some fresh opponents for her. Um, so it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm assuming in London, she'll either be up against Tony Storm or Julia Hart. Um, so, uh, oh yeah, I mean, Triple H and the Ultimate Warrior, I guess they kind of looked alike, but that's one of my favorite Ultimate Warrior matches when he squashed Triple H, and I think with like 30 seconds. Um, so it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously they've got some time before London. I think London is in August. So, um, it's going to be an interesting few months. I mean, I think, obviously WrestleMania is going to overtake anything AEW does, but you can still have an alternative to if you don't like the WWE. AEW is the clear choice, and um, Okada's a big get. If I mean, I believe he's going to AEW, but that. I mean, just the matches you could have with um, Osprey, Okada, um, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Omega when he comes back, MJF when he comes back, Adam Cole when he comes back. I mean, there's a lot of good matches for Osprey and others and Okada. You could just run back a lot of the New Japan matches, which AEW caters to the marks, but the casual fans have no idea about Jay White and Osprey or Jay White and Omega. Um, or Okada and Omega, or Okada and Osprey. So you could just do those matches here. Um, and I do think that AEW struggles with not only bringing in the New Japan guys and not explaining who they are, but like the long-term storytelling. There was really no explanation as to why the Devil's henchmen attacked Jay White. It was just kind of a random attack. There was no follow-up really to it. Um, So, and Samoa Joe, you got to throw him into the mix, and so I'm excited for AEW. Like, yes, their roster is bloated, and a guy like Miro should be in the mix, and um, there's a lot of other, and Kyle O'Reilly coming back in the middle of the, or not in the middle, at the end of the Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy. He's a good guy to have in the mix. He's a great heel. Um, So, I mean, the weird thing was I don't think people knew who he was. Like, I think it was Bully Ray made this point. He should have been wearing one of his wrestling shirts, that said Kyle O'Reilly, whatever his, catchphrase is. Because he looks so different with the hair and the face looked a little puffy that I think it took a few minutes for people to go, oh, that's Kyle O'Reilly. So, I mean, that's never good when you look at someone and go, who's that? Um, no, I don't think so. I mean, maybe on Dynamite and Rampage and Collision. Lois says no. Um, so I mean, the blood last night from Darby was out of control, and Dax Harwood. So well, I mean, I think there's just so much potential in AEW, and with the squandered opportunities. Uh, up- Kip Smith, moderator and Bonzo Berry member. Just for laser, I'll put my question in chat. Um, so I think that with AEW. Tony Khan's not great on television. That's one thing you got to give Vince, even if he shits on people's heads. That he's not very good on TV. Like even in the press conferences, he looks like Cindy Brady in that one episode where she's just staring at the camera like. But I thought it was cool the AEW fans to cheer for him when Sting brought him out. Because let's be honest, none of that shit last night happens without Tony Khan's checkbook. So I just think that fans, everyone's rooting for AEW. Like you want them to succeed because wrestling will force WWE to make a better product, and then that will force AEW to keep up with them and make a better product. But I was just talking to my friend, the great Eddie Torres, on a special podcast we did reviewing Revolution, and we both were like, you look at, say, the Devil storyline. They just dropped the ball with it because I think it's their best storyline in AEW history. But, they just, long term, they didn't think it through. Okay, MJF is hurt. Adam Cole's hurt. So they should have had the Kingdom, or they should have had the Devil's Henchman at least have one person be totally over to carry the torch until Adam Cole can wrestle again. I love Roderick Strong, but I don't know if he's over enough to carry that faction. And the other two guys, Taven and Jackson, they're Ring of Honor guys, so not a lot of people know them. So that's where I think they could use a writer and, like a better storytelling. Like Wardlow doesn't even come out to the ring with him half the time. And there's really been no explanation. Like, are they feuding? Is there internal strife? That's something a writer could whip up inside of a day. So I hope that they start doing Jay White better. I hope they don't give Ospreay the Jay White treatment of 12-man tags and being in the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. It's risky because, I would make a great writer for AEW because I'm realistic. I'm not saying put the heavyweight title on Sting. It's not realistic to have a 64-year-old champion. And it totally devalues the guys who are, MJF. And if you had MJF's job to Sting, it would be long-term bad for MJF. But, like for me, I would have had the Devil. And maybe they tried this and they didn't want to come into AEW. I would have had the Devil be Ziggler, and then the henchmen would be Mustafa Ali, Riddle, and Kyle O'Reilly, or Sean Spears, or both. Because I'm a fan, John, and I don't. It's like, like when I watch the movie Predator, I know it's fake. I know I'm not watching a documentary. But the reason why I like it is because the writing by Shane Black is good. Like you feel like you're watching a documentary because it's such a good written movie, and the suspension of belief and not showing the Predator until, basically 80% of the movie's over, which I'm sure when he said that to studio execs, they're like, who the fuck is going to wait 80 minutes in a movie theater for the reveal? Lois wouldn't. So, it's the same thing with wrestling, and a lot of people, when I tell them my idea for the Devil storyline, they're like, dude, no one wants to see more WWE guys in AEW. But those three specifically, Riddle, Ali, and Ziggler, they're all in their primes. Ziggler was criminally underused the last couple of years. He would have killed it. And look at what Ziggler going to TNA has done. Everyone talks about TNA now. It's trending usually when Ziggler wrestles. Like, so you can imagine in AEW, like Ziggler and Ospreay, that'd be a killer match. Okada and Ziggler, Jay White and Ziggler, like, so Lois, man, you're hit, you're bleeding. I ain't got time to bleed. You got time to duck. That guy had some great lines. Richard Chavez, strap this on your sore ass, Blaine, bitch. Jaws. His name is Jaws. He kills people. Do you know him? Not socially. It's a couple lines from Moonraker. No, Lois has a heart murmur and fluid in her lungs, to be completely honest. So um, she's doing well, but she is a little tired. We just went on a long walk and got stuck in traffic and all that, yada 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 yada. So let me thank my tippers. I like to thank them several times throughout the stream. Thank you, ACDC 5150, the legend of J-Man Jack, Random Guy, Kip Smith. You guys are all legends, man. We have a small but mighty group of the Earlomaniacs. Thank you, HW Prince. Oh, really? I did not know Richard Chavez's background. I did see him in an episode in Miami Vice. Um, yeah, I mean, but Mae Young giving birth, that was a humor. Like, I enjoyed the Mae Young Mark Henry thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Kip. I didn't see your question. Last thing I saw from you was Jaws, and he said Jaws. Sorry about that. I'm not trying to get people to super chat me, but I do like my vision's not the best, so all the questions kind of blend into each other. Do you think Ric Flair laying on Sting was a swerve to make it look like he was going to turn on him? No, I think it was a way for the Young Bucks to get heat when they super kicked him. I like that. Uh, Brackus, the great Ralph Ralph Moeller. He was a great bad guy. I used to see him at Gold's Gym back in the day. He was a big boy. Uh, yeah, I love that. And the look on Bubba's face. I mean, I'm not going to say that was great writing, but it was a funny match. I mean, Mae Young probably had all kinds of shit on Vince McMahon and whoever else, Pat Patterson. So she probably was like, "Hey, man, put me on TV. I don't give a shit if I got to go through a table, or I'm going to expose all you fucking creeps." Um, so, uh, but I'm talking when I'm talking about writing. Like it'll be interesting now. Darby Allin, he needs a new tag team partner. So you could build to a mystery partner. Like Darby Allin doesn't have to wrestle. So they do a tag team tournament and it goes into Dynasty the next pay-per-view and Okada's the mystery tag team partner. Now it doesn't really make sense because he has no affiliation with Darby Allin, but you make it make sense. It's not that hard. Like people want to see a good storyline. It doesn't have to be completely accurate. Now, I personally would hold off Okada. Someone told me, "Oh, I think he's going to debut next Wednesday with Sasha, not with her, but like it's the same show." I would hold off on that. But why would I do that, random guy? Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I mean I could read them to be honest with you. Oh wait, okay, here we go. Yeah, I mean that's a little better. Thank you. Um, but I just did that and they got bigger. So um I mean, my vision is I don't have good. I mean, this size 2020. This size they don't even have a number low enough. It's like 2080 or something. So it's a hardcore stigmatism. Um, so I don't mind. I did make the words bigger, but I could read it pretty decently right now. So I just want the new camera is in the building. I passed the eye test. And they made me do it without the glasses on. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I do cheat a little bit. So when I'm reading with my good eye, I look over at the next line, which they usually make you do, and I just memorize it. So, let's not tell anyone from the DMV that trick of the trade. So we're at the hour mark, baby dolls. Get your last questions in. Um, or opinions, See, I like to want you guys wanting more. So, I don't want you guys to um, just be drained. Yes, rest in peace, Virgil, the man. 14-inch peepee. You can even see it there. And he signed it to Earl, 14-inch hog in front of him like a 9-year-old kid. And the kid was looking at me like, what the fuck? So, yeah, Virgil was a good dude. He was really, he lived the gimmick. And, it's sad. He was not doing well the last couple of years. But he's a very cool guy. So, it sucks. Those guys from that era, Virgil, the Sheik, they're dead. I mean, they lived a hard life, man. If you were a pro wrestler in the 80s and you're alive in 2024, you're a survivor. So rest in peace, Mike Jones. You're a good dude. No, his manager, he was managed by the Iron Sheik's managers. So he gave me that picture for free, and he was brokenhearted. He's like $30. I looked at the Sheik's managers. I'm like, $30, and they're like, Virgil. I was like, okay, I'll talk about my 14-inch hog. No, it didn't. It didn't. It got worse when I saw my axe. So these guys are, Roddy, died 61 years old. So when you see a guy like, Sting, 60, I think Sting's close to 65 years old. Flair's 75. Ricky Steamboat's got to be late 60s. Nikita Koloff's got to be late 60s. Magnum TA, late 60s. Maybe at the minimum mid 60s. It just sucks getting old, I guess. So, I mean, you met my Alabama ex. You know what time it is, John Ray. But no questions about her. Those are $100 and up. Oh shit. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, $2. Let me hear you holla. Do you think Golden Artist, etc., signs Nick Swartzen? Well, Golden Artist Entertainment used to rep Ron Jeremy, so I don't think there's anyone they wouldn't rep. That clip kind of bummed me out. I love Nick. Nick is the one who wrote the Small Scene and Bench Warmers for me, because I had opened up for him, and I was 6 years into comedy and going nowhere. I had no credits at all. So I hope Nick, he likes to drink, man, and that shit will catch up to you. And he's a little guy, so but he's got to want to get help. Like, you're not going to get help if you don't want it. I mean, you're going to get help, but it's not going to help. So I hope that he, someone helps him. He probably has a lot of enablers around him. Yeah, man, let's party. Let's go to the bars after a college gig and get shit-faced. So I hope 1001 Bel Air Road. Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me type it in the stream here. Let me go to my iPad on the stream. I believe Elvis's address, in terms of his old, hey, we got 15 people watching in here. Hubba hubba. Thank you, Peter Chicken Man, Brennan. If you look up, let me see, 10, 550 Roca Place. I believe that was Elvis's address. I don't think I'm doxing anyone because I'm not giving out names. This was my parents' home, 10500 Roca Place. Now it looks nothing. You can look up 10500 Roca Place on Zillow and probably Redfin too. And if you're really jonesing to see where Daddy Man lived in Miami, look up uh, look up 1525 Northview Road, Sunset Island, number 1. Oh, wait, we got another question here. Hold on. You guys are super chatting fast and furious now. Ross Incognito, $4.99. Give us a little bit of political talk, Daddy Man. Yes, if you watch Home Invaders Miami Vice episode, Esai Morales was doing surveillance on a house from my parents' driveway. Political talk. Well, it is Super Tuesday. And, there's really not a lot of drama. I mean, Trump's going to win every state today. And I think the only state he lost was Washington, D.C. I just think it's funny that Nikki Haley is sticking it to Trump by staying in the race. That's pissing him off. Like, he's going to go out of control tonight talking what a bitch she is. I kind of like it. If we've learned one thing, Trump has a problem with women. And the fact that a woman is kind of being like, F you, I'm not leaving, I kind of like. And I do think Haley has the best chance at beating Biden because I think once these trials start cooking in, people are going to turn off of Trump. And Trump's problem is, that Vulcan nerve thing he did to John Santucci in the Golden Triangle, the opening episode, that was the real life jewel thief that was the technical advisor in the movie Thief. And the funny thing is, in that movie, John Santucci played a cop and Dennis Farina played a dirty cop. And in real life, Dennis Farina arrested John Santucci. And they used John Santucci's tools for all the safe cracking things. And then later, John Santucci and Dennis Farina would reunite in an episode of Miami Vice as well as Crime Story. So, thank you, William Zoom. So getting back to politics. So, Trump's clearly going to be the nominee. But I do kind of believe Haley, once these trials start kicking in before the debates, like a lot of people are going to turn on Trump. And Trump, his biggest problem is he doesn't expand outside of his base. Trump is like Kiss. Kiss never had that huge selling like Metallica, Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet album, like 10, 12, 15, 20 million selling record back when you counted sold records instead of streams. I think their biggest selling record was Alive, like 3 to 4 million units, which is great. But, they never really expanded outside their base of fans. So if you didn't like Kiss, you didn't buy their albums. Peter, I'll get to that question in a second. I think Trump is eerily the same way. Like he's got his hardcore, fans and voters. Nothing after that. If you're not in on the MAGA world, you're not going to vote for him. And I think people who lean either way are going to go for Biden, and that's going to cause him to win. But I think Haley can help shorten that gap and get some of those people who are on the fence, whereas Trump can't. I believe 1001 Bel Air Road was Johnny Carson's old house, Dr. Nova. Peter Chicken Man Brennan. Vince McMahon was going to kick Trump's ass after Trump slapped him. Well, birds of a feather really do. Biggest store hack, Glassman or Josh Nasser? Well, neither gets spots, and Glassman's not a paid regular there. So I guess Nasser by default. Never Biden. Oh, Pam, I am. Thank you for your Patreon membership the other day. I am trying to get new content. I'm putting my longer stand-up sets on Patreon just because I got in trouble with the Comedy Store for putting longer sets up because they said that they looked too much like a special that they had nothing to do with, which I don't see what the problem would be there. So now in terms of California politics, the big race is Steve Garvey making a lot of inroads against Adam Schiff for the November election. And there's that other girl, I forget her name, heavyset girl, who's an independent. She's causing some waves, but I think Garvey's going to win, which is what Schiff wants because Garvey's a Trump guy. So, well, but I think Elvis had two homes in Bel Air because the one that he lived in was on Roca. The one where he was my neighbor was on Roca Place. But I believe Elvis had two Bel Air. This tells you the money he was making. He had two Bel Air homes, and I think he also had a third home in Beverly Hills, in addition to his Palm Springs estate. So, because I definitely remember Elvis, because we could look down on his driveway, and he had this like gigantic stretch Cadillac limo. I'll never forget. So, it's pretty cool to say. Wheezy Jefferson is in the. I haven't seen Wheezy in the chat in a minute. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, Wheezy, if he had a home in Holmby Hills, but he did have several homes in the Los Angeles area. Well, I mean, I'm a political junkie. I mean, I like to, I don't vote anymore just because I don't believe either party. And you think O'Neill and Bobby Lee will ever make up? I don't know their beef, to be honest with you, Peter. But I love politics. I mean, I'm fascinated by it. Like I'm fascinated that Trump could get so much female support when he's kind of a pig with women. Let's be honest. I mean, he was fucking Stormy Daniels like months after his wife just gave birth to Barron. Grab him by the pussy and like I don't know how and his dad wouldn't rent to black people, and he has black support Trump groups like and Biden. We can I don't think it's any accident that Hunter got some cush gigs he wasn't qualified for, and Biden was his dad. So they're both scummy dudes. See ya, John Ray. Thank you very much. I met John Ray at the Planet Fitness in Decatur, Alabama. And I remember when we got back into the car, Chandler, my ex, was like, man, you know everyone. From Los Angeles to the Planet Fitness bathroom in Decatur, Alabama. Hello. So we'll stay in touch. John Ray got me also my iPad. I left my iPad at the Roast of Ric Flair, and John Ray was nice enough to drive back to the convention center, which was a pretty big place, and he found it. So follow John Ray on Instagram or wherever. My iPad is everything to me. It's where all my jokes are. It's where all my dick pics are. I can't have anyone finding that. So, and it was nice to meet, people that you are friends with online. So follow John Ray. You want to give your Instagram in here? Everyone, follow everyone. We're just a little family, non-Dabbleverse family, and I love it. Look how good this chat. Yes.
check it out. Instagram. Follow John Ray. Follow everyone. Like, Pam I Am. We're just one happy family. And we're going to end the stream now. Tomorrow night, we'll do a stream, 4 p.m. We'll, check in on some Vanderpump Rules, and we will go over what the Kings did tonight. Friday morning, we're going to be doing a special NHL trade deadline. We're going to start at 7 a.m. Eastern. No, we're going to start 7 a.m. my time. And we're going to cover the NHL trade deadline. The Kings are rumored to, be, in the mix on several players. Markstrom in Calgary, he's probably the top goalie to be out there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to, we're going to see, maybe the numbers will be shit. Maybe they'll be good. I know that's when Shuley and Melton will be on. So, I'm not doing it to piss them off, but I don't think I'm going to be covering hockey talk, so I know that's a limited. I will wake up that early. I am capable of it because I can do a 3-hour stream on Friday and go at 10:01, go right to bed. We'll see what happens. And if I could get some hockey fans in here, super chat, and hey, who do you think the Kings should make? It could be a new sector for me to explore. We'll have some comedy talk. We'll talk wrestling. I'm going to start watching TNA in New Japan on Thursday nights, so maybe we can squeeze in some TNA and New Japan talk. I think on Access TV they are televised back to back. So a good stream, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. on the Button Slick. And I will never eat on the stream again. But, what can I say? Daddy was hungry. Earl Skakel off to watch Vanderpump Rules, Super Tuesday, and the Los Angeles Kings taking on the division-leading Vancouver Canucks, coached by the great tough guy, Rick Tocchet. And my stream with Eddie Torres where we discussed Revolution will be out probably tomorrow as well. So we covered a lot of things today, but you can get Eddie's takes on the event as well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sting for life.